If funding or authority even for ICE is reduced, who ultimately fills that enforcement gap, and how do you reassure the American people that these changes won't end up shielding the criminals?
I'll defer to Ranking Member.
Look, I want to be very clear that what's happening right now is the Trump administration is taking away law enforcement that should be focusing on real national security threats, on real criminals, and deploying them to immigration and harassment, kidnapping, detention, killing of U.S. citizens, residents, undocumented immigrants who have never committed any crime in this country. That is what's happening. 25% of FBI agents have been deployed to this. Homeland Security Investigations, which is HSI, part of ICE, used to focus on real criminal investigations. And even those of us who didn't like what ICE was doing used to support many of those investigations that HSI used to carry out. Those were important investigations. HSI is now working on this. And you may have seen the news that the prosecutors who at the Department of Justice who are responsible for the so-called fraud investigation in Minnesota just stepped down and resigned because this is being used to go after immigration, go after people in the state of Minnesota just randomly. And today we played the video in Judiciary Committee of doors being battered down. I just want to remind everybody that the Fourth and Fifth Amendments of the Constitution apply to everybody, citizens and non-citizens alike. So I think we have to actually look at this and turn your question the other way and say, do you care about actual national security and public safety? Because what is happening right now is undermining the safety and security of all Americans across this country.
Just real quick, everyone should be aware that progressives in Congress are the crime fighters in Congress. And this isn't just like a talking point that I'm making up. We have a record on this as well. Donald Trump does not care about fighting crime. He doesn't care about keeping our people safe. What does the record show? Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, putting forth an Office of Gun Violence Prevention, making sure that we fund agencies like ATF to actually go after secondary and black market guns and ghost guns. And guess what? It worked. For the past 3 years, the last 3 years of the Biden administration, gun violence that went down the most it's ever gone down in our nation's history, including homicides by gun. What are the first things that Donald Trump did? Gut ATF. Get rid of crime gun intelligence. Get rid of the Office of Gun Violence Prevention. Scale back community violence intervention work. All these things that were supported in many cases in a bipartisan effort, Trump got rid of. Yeah, and pardon insurrectionists and pardon people. So I just think it's important to know that for a lot of time, those on the right here in Congress want to use crime and talk about safety as a political point to win an election. Then they get into office and they don't do anything to actually make our people safer. They try to use it for their own agenda. We have passed legislation that has resulted in less people dying and less crime being committed. Those are the numbers. And they don't care about how Donald Trump feels about them. Because every life saved and behind every number, there's a human. And we get that. So if you want to ask somebody about crime, please ask congressional Republicans and Donald Trump why they're fine with gutting the ATF, why they're fine with completely stepping away from making sure that we do something about the black market of guns and ghost guns that are hurting our communities and that are out there killing our people.